Hello everyone, so in this video I want to talk about the 2015 year model Ford Mustang, and this is actually a EcoBoost model, EcoBoost version, and this one have this special 50-year anniversary appearance package. Now this is not the real limited edition, 50-year limited edition, but this is the appearance package that Ford Mustang offered to a lot of the package and options during the year 2015, and I don't think you can get this anymore. So this is only available in 2015. If you guys are looking for the 50-year anniversary package, your only option is probably to look at the online used car market. Now we actually bought this one used after my wife's lease was ended. She had a 2015 Mustang EcoBoost, just a base version without any additional features, and when she returned the base version, we looked for a used one and we came upon this 50-year appearance package with the EcoBoost Premium Edition, and it's priced very competitively, as a used car. I think it was for sale for around $24,000, and that's a heck of a value. And we bought it last year, so the car was last year, which is 2017. So the car was a little over 2 years old and had less than 10,000 miles. It's super low mileage, and the previous owner actually maintained the car extremely well. So now we have this car for about a year. Now it's close to the end of 2018, so it's November of 2018 going into December. We maintained the car fairly well, but it was never sitting in the garage, so it was exposed to the harsh environments of the Florida sun and the rain, and it has held up pretty good. So in this video, I just want to quickly talk about what is the difference between the 50-year appearance package compared to the regular non-50-year appearance package version. Very obviously, first thing first is the beautiful looking classic retro front grille, and this is the exact same grille as appeared on the limited edition. They had us installed on this EcoBoost Premium, which looks really nice, and this color, which is the yellow, looks amazing. Another thing, very nice looking limited edition wheels. So I believe this is the same wheel used on the actual limited edition, but quote me if I'm wrong. This wheel looks really good. It's aluminum with a clear coating, so it looks kind of polished, but it's actually not polished. I don't think so. And I think this is the performance tire, summer performance tire that was originally installed. And with the premium package, you have a little LED light on the bottom of the mirror right over there, that at night when you turn on or turn off the car, it illuminates the floor with the Mustang logo, which is really cool. So the wheel looks really nice. So also with the 50-year anniversary appearance package, you also have the classic retro chrome grille on the turning signal as well. So all over on the turning signal. It looks nice, but I think I'd prefer the actual original turning signal. This looks this looks too busy for me. And over here it's a fake gas cap logo over here that says 50 years, signifying the appearance package. Integrated spoiler right over here, and we actually had the window tinted, so it looks a little darker than usual, but the tint actually helps a lot in the Florida sun. And this edition, actually, since it's the premium, it have the remote start. So basically, if you lock the car and press twice, the car starts itself and starts to turn on the AC and start cooling the interior, which is really nice. So also features trunk release, which you double tap twice. The trunk is released, and the trunk is surprisingly big for a muscle car. It's very useful. So right over here, as you can see. It's a big trunk, and it have a 40-60 split rear seat. Now the rear seat is pretty much useless for any adults sitting behind, so I think it's only used for emergency, to be honest. But it's very uncomfortable sitting on back of a Mustang. Any people who own a Mustang probably knows that. But the trunk itself is very large. It holds at least 2 large luggages and probably 3 or more if you have some extra additional luggage. So very useful trunk. I'm very surprised. The trunk design, it's like this kind of a hinge design, which is a little unusual, but it works. For the long-term care of the Mustang, since this car is going into, year 5 almost, you have to make sure when you buy a used Mustang, make sure this area is fairly clean and well maintained, because if it gets dirty, a lot of like dirty stuff, stones and sand traps inside here and actually vents out from here. So you have to make sure to keep this area clean, because this is where all the dirt comes out. So that's something to keep in mind. So close the trunk. And the exhaust, it have dual exhaust. And the nice thing is this little bottom plate actually is color matched with, the rest of the body. So that's really nice. And again, this is EcoBoost dual exhaust. It's fairly quiet. It's not unusually loud like the GT, which I personally don't think that exhaust note sounds any good. Yeah, so the EcoBoost is definitely a better option in my opinion, and it's more energy efficient, of course. Going over here, so this, even though this is a premium version, it does not have the blind spot, which in my opinion, again, you can have it. It's a nice extra thing, but personally, when we drive the car, we actually physically look behind for any blind spots if there's any vehicle inside. So it's, again, nice to have, but it's not necessary. This one actually features the heated mirror. So let's go inside and take a quick look of a few differences between this one and the regular EcoBoost Premium. So if you have the regular version, this area, I don't think it's leather trimmed, but this is actually leather trimmed area on the armrest. Soft touch leather, soft touch, plastic right over here. It's kind of harder soft touch plastic material, and this is softer soft touch. All those aluminum accents, like this is plastic actually, like anything that's kind of dual looking, it looks like aluminum, but it's actually plastic. This door handle is also, I believe, plastic, but it looks, it's metal with a, yeah, it's actually plastic. So everything's plastic. Go inside. The difference between the anniversary package is, look at this nice seat. The seat features a leather trimmed seat. Of course, premium version have the vented seat, which is really nice for Florida weather. Like you get inside and you turn on the vented seat, the AC kicks in and your seat is very cool and comfortable. And again, the logo right over here on the seat looks really nice. Quick look on the back. The back, I don't think there's any difference between the premium version and the anniversary package. Again, the armrest right over there, the stitching. Also, something interesting is, let's see, there is no gauge here. I remember on some of the options you can have some gauges on top of over here, but there's no gauge here. And you have a little 50-year edition plate. Of course, you have the real limited edition. It's gonna have the plate number right over there, but this one is generic, so it's just got a nice plate right over there. This all trimmed area. It's not aluminum, it's also plastic, but it looks like metal. Okay, so now the car just turned off because I haven't got into the car and started the car properly. So once I think it turns off after a few minutes, and now it's off. The steering wheel, not much difference at all. Actually, it's the same as the premium version. So you have the general control right over here, your media control over here, you know, a hands-free section over here, and this is your cruise control. For year 2015, they had a Ford Sync Touch, but this is the older version of the Touch. And I believe the newer version after the 2016 is the Ford Sync Touch is a lot better implemented than the old one. But even though it's old one, it have the navigation and it have the touch screen. The interface works just fine. It's just a little slow to operate. It also have voice guided you know, navigation, but it never worked properly for us. So that is something to be improved. Unfortunately, this one doesn't have CarPlay or Android Auto or whatever. While my new car actually have that feature, and we don't use the navigation much on the integrated system because the Google Maps or the Apple Maps works a lot better. Besides that, there's not really much difference between this regular version and the premium version. If you like, just go on YouTube and just look around, and you'll find plenty reviews of the Mustang 2015, you know, premium edition EcoBoost, and some other people would probably be better at explaining all the features and neatness of the premium edition. But again, since this is a long-term review, I want to tell you guys, if you are buying a vehicle this old, like where to look at and some of the areas that I think would wear faster than some other areas. So obviously, first thing first is the vanity mirror. Apparently Mustang had some problems with the vanity mirror light goes off bad, and this is one of them, because the design of the wire going into the little hinge over there, the light would eventually stop working if you actually like do this a lot. Like if you block the sun a lot on the side, the light goes bad. So that is something to keep in mind. Like when you buy a used Mustang, keep the vanity light. It may be broken. And this is owned by my wife, so she used the vanity mirror a lot, and she told me that, you know, it's very inconvenient to not have a working light when you're like sometimes parking in the garage and it's kind of dark and you need to do some makeup. So something to keep in mind. And also, when we bought the car, we noticed that the plate over here is missing, or exposing the screw right over there. So we don't know what's going on with this car. Even though the appearance looks very new, like some areas might have been, you know, modified or adjusted. And if you look to the other side, you know, the plate is inside, it's intact. So I believe they did something to the door, but I don't know exactly what they did. Something to keep in mind, and you know, when you buy the used car, to look at, make sure, you know, those areas are not touched or modified. Pay close attention to those areas on the edge, like because if the previous owner modified the door or the panel, you would be able to see some prying marks, you know, around the area that generally you have to pry open to get the door open. So interesting thing over there. And let's go outside and take a look. So what I noticed is, I want to show you the other side. So over here, this is the door hinge on the driver's side, which looks just fine. And let's go to the passenger side. So if you look closely, the passenger side has rusted after about 5 years. Yeah, so there's rust over there. So again, I live in Florida, lots of rain, and we don't have a garage, so we keep the car outside in the harsh, you know, tough Florida sun and rain season, and things will get rusted. So that's one area to take a look at for the rust. And also check all the brakes and check on the rust condition of the brake, because like the calipers, the drum area right over here also gets rusted fairly easily. I'll show you guys one of the area that's rusted a little more. So like right over here, see there's some rust over there, hard to adjust. But all the brake drums, or at least the area that's holding the brake disc, gets some rust. So that's the area that I can see. All four wheels have some sort of rust near the brake pad. I mean near the calipers. So I think the rear passenger side is rusted the worst. But again, it does not affect the use. It just affects the appearance because you know, it never looks nice when you see some rust right out of a really nice looking aluminum wheel. I'm gonna pop up the trunk. Okay, another area. This groove, because it tracks a lot of dirt on top, it gets the paint gets lost. So make sure when you take care of your car, make sure the groove is cleaned nicely and waxed properly. Also again on the other side, the groove. I mean, for a 5-year-old car, the paint has held up pretty nice. Over here, the groove, you can see those are some of the actual paint loss over here from the rain that's being constantly poured onto the car. And let's see if I can show you guys better here. Like, look at this area. This is paint lost, but all the plastic parts on the car has held up really well. Like if you remember the last generation, or like my wife had a 2004 Mustang as well before, all the plastic brake lights was like falling apart literally after a couple of years. So they're all dark and there's no damage on the plastic over here. So they used a really good quality plastic, which I'm really glad. The brake lights, there's no damage, there's no hazing, as well as the front light. So after 4 years with just regular maintenance, I haven't polished the light at all, so it's original and there's no haze in the headlight unit, which is really good. The quality material they used is, I mean, it's very good. My old car, which was older, and the light just starts to fog like really badly, but this one, it actually held up pretty good. Get some close-up look. And of course, this is a premium version. I have the fog lights as well right down there. I don't think it's LED, but it's nice to have it. Let's, at the very end, let's pop up the trunk. Take a look inside of the EcoBoost. Okay, and take a look at those nice looking metal you know, brake pads and accelerator. Of course, if you look deep down under, you're gonna expose some parts, but nobody's gonna look under there. So okay. Alright, so I just popped open the hood. Take a look at a 4-year-old car with about 20,000 miles on it. It has held up really good for the last almost 5 years. They designed the hood to be pretty dust resistant. Like when I open up the hood to clean, most of the time there's just, you know, a little bit of the sand down here. There's not much, you know, road grimes and dirt at all on top of the engine part. Basically it just requires us like a small wipe and everything's like super clean and looking like new. And I really like how they designed the hood. I think this is how it actually prevented a lot of the dust from coming to the engine department. So they did a really good job. So over here you can see the EcoBoost engine, which is I think a 2.4. The turbo should be right over here somewhere. Yeah, let's see. So I'm just gonna go around and give you guys a detailed look of all the interior parts. So there's the switch box, the fuse box, and what I noticed is after a few years, you know, we haven't changed the coolant a little bit. It looks like there's a little bit of the rust right over there coming out from the coolant that's spitted out from here, the radiator. Might be a good time when it comes to 5 years mark to have the coolant flushed, maybe transmission fluid as well. And also don't forget to actually redo your brake fluid. Like what I do usually when I buy a used car is I get all those fluid flushed and replaced immediately. So we haven't replaced the brake fluid, and the color is turning dark a little bit, so it's almost gonna be time to replace because it's almost 5 years. So replace the brake fluid when you're buying a used 2015 Mustang, and you should have a very reliable car. Now, the only major problem that we've ever encountered with the Mustang is the AC. Like, if I'll post the link below of the previous post I've posted about my wife's old Mustang that she leased. The AC had broken down, I think 3 times. I think it was the actuator that controls the cold and hot air mix that's broken, but the dealer had replaced, I think, the entire evaporator assembly, and they said that fixed the problem. And we didn't further test because we have to return the car after 2 years, but within 2 years the actuator broke 3 times. Now this car we had for, for even longer, like almost 5 years, and the AC haven't give us any problems yet. And I think for Mustang it's always a good idea to get extended warranty just for the AC, because to fix the AC it's going to be super expensive. Always good when you buy the used Mustang, make sure you get the extended warranty, okay? And that way you have a peace of mind when it comes to time to sell your Mustang, because most of the warranty can transfer as well, and it doesn't cost that much on top of the price that you pay for a Mustang. So it's definitely good to have extended warranty to protect your investment. Now I just want to show you some of the areas that since we owned had some slight damage. Give you an idea of what to expect when you get a used car. So there are some chips over here, and if you can see, this chip is pretty deep right over here. It's unavoidable for sure, and especially if you're driving on the highway a lot. So and over here in the front grille we had some like light chips over here, and no, those are not chips, those are the license plate holders right over here. So over here there's some slight damage from the car actually bumping into something, and overall the paint quality for the Mustang is really good. I don't see any problem with the car lasting another 4 or 5 more years if you do some good regular maintenance. Over here there's a slight chip as well, and the windshield, there are some separation starting to happen on the edge right over here after about 4 or 5 years. I'm not sure what it's gonna do later on, but there's separation over here. I believe this windshield is like 2-layer sandwiched together. Yeah, so there's some separation over there. Wiper blade works great, no problem at all. And on this side it's fine. So again, if you keep the car waxed and properly maintained, it's not going to give you any problems on the paint. In terms of driving experience, definitely a lot of fun to drive. It's a American muscle car, and in terms of gas mileage, if you have the performance tire installed, I think we're getting around 28-30 on the highway, and about 18 to 20 in the city. And if you have like more all-season and less rolling resistance tires, non-performance tires, you should get a little better mileage. Like, I remember the last car we had, the base version Mustang we had for 2 years on lease. That car actually gets over 35 mpg on the highway, which was really impressive considering this is a muscle car. And the EcoBoost engine is really efficient, so we're quite impressed with the performance of the car. Again, driving dynamics really good. It had 3 different levels of steering firmness that you can adjust, and also the premium version have the track mode and the sports plus mode, whatever. We don't use that feature quite often because we just use it for daily commute, but it's actually fun to drive around with those modes enabled. We tried it a few times. I even have a timer for 0 to 60 or something like that. In terms of, you know, turning, the car turns very precisely. There's not much rolling resistance, you know. If you are like me who drives a family sedan, like, you're much appreciate the handling of the Ford Mustang when you're trying to get a used Mustang. So just go test drive any car that you find and see if the car is a good fit for you, and if it is, you should get the Mustang, because we all love the Mustang a lot. So again, this should sum up the review, long-term review of the 2015 Ford Mustang EcoBoost with the 50-year appearance package. If you guys have any questions, just feel free to ask us in the comment section, and we'll be happy to answer for you guys. Thank you so much, and take care.